Hello. Uh, Hello and welcome to Flappity Flap Podcast. This is your hosts, Brandon and Sarah.
Indeed.
So today we don't have the Mac.
My Mac
Mm-hmm.
that's registered with the audio interface that works with the two fancy microphones.
So we're left. We're left with the old mic that we were originally recording with in the closet.
When we were noobs.
Mm-hmm. So we apologize for any, drop in sound quality that definitely will happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that it's kind of on topic with what we're going to be talking about today too, which is planned obsolescence.
You might even say it was the inspiration for the topic.
Yeah. So we've both been having kind of issues. My computer issues are a little different from yours because my Mac is older, and apparently they made the power supply more resilient in the older iMacs, of course.
Right, because that makes sense. I mean,
because any way they can downgrade that isn't
obvious.
too blatant.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a power surge. My computer started acting funny, and Sarah's computer started acting really funny. It was just the screen would go black. It would just start sleeping out of nowhere, and we determined that it wasn't the fans. It was just, it would do it in recovery mode and just all the time. But then it would stop doing it for like a couple months.
Like a couple weeks.
And then just start doing it again randomly. So it's really weird.
So luckily it happened a month or less before I was going to be out of warranty. So I had this thing just under a year. We had a power outage. The computers were on. And it starts doing this.
And
so thankfully.
And they weren't plugged into the wall. They were both of our computers were plugged into surge protectors. Mm-hmm. So there's really no excuse.
So these things are so damn delicate that under a year,
mm-hmm.
and even if maybe if I'd had it after a month, it still would have done this. It might have nothing to do with the age. It is a 2017 because that's what they had in stock. But, they sell it like it's a brand new computer.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the year warranty, but it's like if it does it again, now I'm out of warranty. I don't know if I want to invest in Apple Care, and
no,
I'm going to be screwed.
I think the best answer is to just pull the thing open after you get it fixed or whatever, or replaced or whatever they do. Do some research into it and pull the thing open and see if you can, I don't know, make it less delicate. I don't know. I'm not a computer person. I know you did
your upgrading of the memory and the storage, but a power supply thing, I think
you could do it. There are tutorials for everything online.
It's just crazy that I should have to do that and not feel like I can trust the Apple people.
Mm-hmm. And this was the third time. This was a new computer.
Well, it was a 2017, so I don't know what that means. No.
But the model was 2017, but it was an untouched, brand new in the box, bought in 2020, right?
Right. But what I'm saying is I don't know how long. I don't know when they build it. I don't know how long it's sitting there. I don't know if there's pieces
that shouldn't matter. You make it's because they made the product to fail. Yeah. My boss, my old boss had an iMac that he plugged directly into the wall, and there was a power outage, and it just fried his computer.
Mm-hmm.
It was just dead.
So now we're going to have this issue because my PC laptop has its fan going. So, so this is the third visit now. The third, having to leave my computer at the Apple store. And just hope that, they do what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty frustrating. So it has definitely been disruptive. And then I'm sitting downstairs in the living room watching a thing or just phoning, and I'm in the sun, and my Samsung S20 phone starts flickering. The screen starts flickering, and I'm like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? and then I'm tinkering with it, and then when I put it in the shade, it seems like it's working just fine. So it seems like there's a screen thing
So did you
happening.
leave it in the sun?
I didn't leave it in the sun, but it was like when I would try to operate it, even just outside when I was peeing the dog, I'm trying to wake it up and do stuff, and the screen just keeps going dark. So I think it's like something with the auto adjust, but it's like, are you kidding? You know, what it looked like was it was going into sleep or something, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I would just turn auto adjust off and put it at a decent
I went
brightness.
in, I Googled a thing. It's like, some people are like, oh, when your screen's flickering, you need to clear the cache partition. And so I went into the safe mode and did that. It was like nothing. So I think it's just auto, but it's like, come on, you guys. What the hell?
That seems like a little bit different.
But just all the stuff, getting rid of the headphone jack. I got to get an adapter. It doesn't work. The headphone quality is not as good with the adapter. And then I'm using AirPods, and God knows if I'm giving myself head or brain or nose cancer.
I think that the wireless headphones are too soon to cut out plugs into the devices, like because not everybody has them, and also the technology is just not there yet. It's not perfect. I mean, maybe it will never be, but
yeah,
you know, the amount of times you've had your AirPods just like stop working for no reason.
I mean, I figured it out now that if I'm charging them, and then and also it's a Samsung phone, but I definitely had issues pairing them with the Mac as well. But maybe because I was going between the Mac and the Samsung phone. But I figured out that if I have kind of an interruption like that, I just unpair them and pair them again, and they're fine. But sometimes it's like they're working, I'm listening to a thing, suddenly I get a phone call and they're not working. It's coming through, the speaker of the phone. And I'm like, hold on. Because for work and stuff, I need my hands free. And I don't want this freaking cord in my way. Hold on, I gotta go find my adapter. I gotta pair my AirPods again.
So maybe it is because you have a Samsung, because maybe an iPhone would be fine to just go straight to a call.
Yeah, I think my mom said she never has issues, and she has an iPhone. But I'm happy they work as well as they do, considering it's two different manufacturers. But it's just, kind of forcing us to buy certain products. Like, I don't know what else was the point of that. I mean, but to get everyone to be buying wireless earbuds.
Phasing out technology, it's what happens.
And just so every time you buy a new phone, you have to buy new equipment.
It's like when I first bought my iMac in 2013, which, I mean, it's lasted a long time. And now, the hard drive, of course, took a dump because it's got moving parts. So I switched to an SSD, and I doubled the RAM, which was fairly simple when I already had the thing open. I mean, it was still a pain in the ass, but they're decent machines. At least the computers are, the iMacs.
At least they used to be.
Yeah, but what the heck was my point? When I first bought it in 2013, I wanted to play the video game Diablo on it, and I had a disc for it. And when I got the computer home, I was like, I'm gonna play a video game. But then I couldn't find a fucking disc slot on the machine. I was like, where did the discs go? Because it was 2013, like. And also, even now, I mean, discs still exist for software, for programs. So I was just so confused and looking for probably longer than I should have for a slot. And so I had to go out and get an external disk drive, which is like, what the hell, you guys?
Yeah.
It's too early for that. But
just forcing that hand of everyone.
A little bit, yeah.
In the industry and consumers.
Yeah,
thanks a lot, dickheads.
But then again, they probably just have their rich customers in mind that buy every new product as it comes out,
Ridiculous.
That's who they have in mind, because that's probably who they get the most sales from. They don't get sales from people like us that are just like, give me a machine that lasts forever.
Right.
So let's...
so that's how we're here today.
Exactly. So let's get into this. I wrote a few notes.
You did.
Yes. So,
and because you're, approaching granddaddy age, I made it a nice big font for you.
Thank you. Not big enough.
Do you want me to make it bigger?
No.
I can make it bigger.
Yeah, actually, I'll make it bigger.
Just do Control A. Boop.
And then you go to
33 years old and learning every day.
Go to Bigify.
Yes. Bigitries.
There we go.
I think you just made it all 14 because there was some 12. So if you want to make... Oh, it's 15.
That's fine. Okay. So anyway, to preface this, I looked online and just found an article that somebody named Andrea wrote on a website called durabilitymatters.com. That's
all she put is Andrea. Andrea wrote this?
Yeah, that's all they put.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for a last name but couldn't find it. So she explains in the beginning of her article that there are 4 types of planned obsolescence. There's contrived durability, software updates, which I don't really think is always done for the purpose of making a product obsolete. I think some companies do software updates to actually try to fix bugs and improve product performance.
This is you saying that, not her?
Yes, that's me saying that.
So that's one of her planned
software
obsolescence.
Updates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what contrived durability means?
I think it's just
making it look like it's
made out of cheap materials, I think. Is that what that means?
I just feel like maybe we need a little bit of because I want to know.
I think contrived durability means just not durable.
A strategy of shortening the product lifetime before it is released onto the market by designing it to deteriorate quickly.
Yes.
Limited lifespan is only a sign of planned obsolescence if the lifespan of the product is made artificially short by design.
Yes.
So not if it's just, this is how it's made and this is how long it lasts. So I feel like contrived durability is like...
deliberate.
The main one we're talking about.
Yeah. And perceived obsolescence, which I guess is when a customer is convinced that they need an updated product, even though the product is working fine as it is, which I think that must just be more wealthy people, I guess, that might think that, or people that just don't have the energy or time to like...
That's definitely it for me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh, my laptop or whatever, and I'm not the kind of person to like really spend a lot of time because it's just not what I want to spend my time on. But unless it's like, it's going to be this much more money, I just bought this phone a year ago. No, I'm going to spend some time or money, to like look at it. So if the cost, my hand's sweaty. If the cost is like getting kind of exorbitant, then, that will make me not do the upgrade. Otherwise it's like, I just don't want to deal with it. Give me a new phone, transfer all my shit. I'm out of here.
And the last one is prevention of repair, which I think Apple computers are very guilty of.
Yeah.
So the goal...
I say yeah because I've watched some people like, what's his name? What was his name? Rossman Lewis? Oh, frick.
Is that the guy, the YouTube channel?
I don't know if he was an Apple engineer anyway, but he's got like an independent repair shop and he's like, they're trying to make it so that we can't work on their machines. And I think he said
I'm
PC manufacturers are okay. I think he said PC manufacturers do it too, but not quite.
It's different
to the extent
they still do it though.
Yeah,
just in a different way. Okay. So the goal of planned obsolescence, of course, is so the company can continue to make sales. It's profitable to make a product that lasts. What?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It's not profitable to make a product that lasts forever.
So are you going to get more into that? Because I just have a question.
I am.
Okay. About how does a company survive then if,
Actually, it also depends on your form of government. I learned a little bit.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
In fact, I was doing some research on Nintendo a couple weeks ago because we were thinking of doing an episode on them. So Nintendo was founded in 1889 in Japan, of course. Why do
you say of course?
Because it's a Japanese company.
I know, but I didn't know that for the longest time.
Really?
Yeah. That's why the other day, I feel like you've told me before and then you said it again and I was like, oh, right. But actually, or I think in my head, I just always thought it was like American, but they used like a Nintendo. I just never thought about it being Japanese.
Yeah,
I just
no,
never thought about it.
they're
Sorry,
a Japanese
Japan.
company. But actually, I learned that Atari was made in California.
See?
It's an American
So I was
company.
kind of right, just with the wrong company.
And I think Atari is a Japanese word meaning to like hit the mark or something. Something like that.
Interesting.
So that was interesting. I had no idea it was made in California.
So Atari is a completely separate company, not related to like
I guess they just made
Nintendo,
that
Sega.
console.
Okay.
I didn't get into it yet
Okay.
because we were doing this planned obsolescence.
Yes, and there's always just like rabbit holes.
But we can talk about that when we do the Nintendo and video game episode if you like. So it began as a card game company. Nintendo did.
Okay.
And they were able to mass produce their games.
That's crazy. I think that's the crazy. Anyway, that's crazy.
Just with help. They didn't have factories, I don't think. They just had, manpower.
But the fact that it was started as a card game is just so it makes sense. But I just never thought about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the company faced financial struggle for multiple reasons. One of which was because they produced a high quality product that would last. So in order to help keep the company stay afloat,
idiots,
Nintendo produced a cheaper, lower quality line of playing cards that would require, replacement.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say the year they started producing the lower quality cards, but I think it was pretty early on because it was still while they were producing cards. Mm-hmm. So probably around the 1900s. So nowadays, though...
Well, now what 1900s? Because 1900s is...
Like
early
1900s.
Did they
because they were developed in 1889.
That's so the idea that like
120 years ago
people were playing card games that weren't just like your what do you call those, like bicycle or whatever, those like playing poker or rummy or... It
was a different country.
I know, it's just weird to think of Japanese people playing, so they weren't like around the world they weren't like marketed worldwide. They were like Japanese.
They were Japanese cards. It was a Japanese game that they produced.
Like, but like with numbers and figures like we have, or like more like a Dungeons.
I think they were like pictures,
kind of, or fantasy.
I don't think they were fantasy. I think they were pictures of like flowers and stuff, and it was like some sort of a matching game.
I was just picturing people in like Victorian garb playing like Magic the Gathering or something,
That would be like Europe.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay. Carry on.
But nowadays, Nintendo has been getting class action lawsuits for their Switch console controllers failing too quickly. Mm-hmm. 2020, they had some lawsuits. So I think it's personally safe to say that all well-established companies now know when their product is failing and why they are failing. So it's deliberate. It has to be, right?
Yeah.
It has to be deliberate. And also, I found this out. Henry-Ford apparently practiced planned obsolescence on the Model T by testing every major part and deliberately downgrading everything that outlasted the first major component to fail.
Wow.
So basically, consumers would have to constantly go back to the Ford dealer, I'm assuming, for replacement and repair of the smaller parts until the inevitable death of the vehicle by major component failure.
Well, that sounds about right.
I mean,
way back then,
fucking
that guy's like
bastard.
A pillar of the American industrial industry.
I mean, and
you bastard, we trusted you.
And this is an interesting thing that I found out as well. Somebody by the name of Memory Access Register on Reddit.
I was gonna say I was really gonna be concerned that you were like somebody by the name of Memory Access Register invented but I get it now. It's like a handle. Okay.
So this handle on Reddit, this person on Reddit said that there's a documentary on planned obsolescence of refrigerators. They shared it, but it was taken down due to copyright infringement. The video was. So they had a source that they weren't lying about. I apologize for not being able to share the source, but the Reddit poster said that the East German refrigerators lasted much longer than those from the West. They were engineered to last at least 25 years since planned obsolescence doesn't benefit anybody in a communist economy. So it's kind of like a capitalist type
Why does it
thing, it
benefit?
seems.
Okay,
Because
because
you
everyone
can't.
kind of gets what I don't really know how communism works in
I-
that in a practical respect. If you're really doing communism,
I don't
like,
know either, but I think that maybe centibillionaires don't exist in communist
Yeah.
countries.
in pure, I don't know if there even are any pure communist countries, but if they existed, yeah, you wouldn't have any kind of billionaires. I think
So
that's an
pretty
interesting thought. Yeah.
pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that the CEOs and the heads of these companies are absolutely just taking advantage of everyone, the consumer, their workers, everyone. They could absolutely take a pay cut to produce a better quality item that would just last a little longer.
I'm sure it's very calculated. I'm sure they calculate the likelihood and outcome of class action lawsuits and account that as a negligible cost or expense of doing what they're doing. I mean, I'm sure of it. Or, the fact that
they do research. I mean, if
and they have all this proprietary software and hardware, and it's like, so you can, a lot of times, I mean, maybe not so much in class action lawsuits where you have a real foundation and a basis for these claims, but if you're just like a single individual or a small class action, I think they can object to releasing information and inspection because of proprietary issues, because you don't want that getting out into the market and other people stealing your shit. But it's like, no. This proprietary BS is also blocking us from seeing the shenanigans you're pulling that are breaking these machines.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to keep buying more. It'd be different if this was just aimed towards the rich. These are normal people. These are, college students, for example.
They can't
buy a lot of
afford to be
Macs.
buying shit over and over again. And
It's
they can't
so
afford to take
enraging.
their deliberately breaking machines into get fixed for an exorbitant amount of money. Like I told you before that when I was looking to increase the RAM, the memory cards, my computer, I found some online that were $80. And across the board, they were generally about $80 for two memory cards that were like 8 gigs each, low voltage. And the Apple store, the Apple company, sells the same exact shit, these 2 cards, for $400. And I think the replacement cost is about $400 as well. And had they not made
so you're spending $800?
Yeah. And had they not made the machines impossible to fucking open, the replacement repair probably would not be anywhere near that.
Mm.
So it's like, man, they're just soaking up money from people. But at the same time, they still make decent machines. It's just like not a black and white thing, because I would still consider buying a Mac over a PC next time. Just, like they both suck. Both companies just fucking, well, not companies, because Windows computers aren't made by a single company, but
Well, I think the reason that I would go back to PC is I know people who do, IT work for the firm I work for, and they have done work for me personally, but they say they typically don't. I think there's just more people who can work on PCs. I mean, they don't make them impossible to open.
That's true.
And maybe you can kind of teach yourself more easily and not fuck up a PC.
And they're more affordable.
Yeah.
But it's just, the problem I have with PC is the constant, it's just like constant issues with them. It's doing an automatic update. My Mac has never done an automatic update. It always lets me choose. Sometimes it's persistent and annoying, but I'm not in the middle of work and it just suddenly decides to upgrade.
Yeah.
Or update. Although I don't know if you can change that can you change that in your computer?
In your PC?
In your PC, yeah.
Probably. It's probably just set up to automatically update because we know best about when you should be updating.
Yeah, in the middle of a work slideshow or some shit.
Yeah.
Such fucking bullcrap. But it's just things like that that steer me away from Windows computers. And they just don't last long, constantly needing updates. And if you don't constantly update, they lose compatibility with your programs. And I know the same is for Apple if you don't update, but like it feels quicker with Windows computers.
You mean more updates?
Yeah, like you require more updates more often, or your stuff becomes incompatible. But, again, I'm not a computer person. I just know from my experience with PC is like, fuck, this thing's a pain in the ass. It's constantly needing maintenance. Whereas my Apple is just like, it's worked for like 5+ years perfectly fine. Then it did take a dump, but I just replaced some shit in it and it's working again.
Well, and because you have a 2013 or bought it in 2013, I do get the sense, just from what we're seeing on social media and like the YouTubers and the trend.
Careful, maybe don't cover your face.
The company has just not gone downhill, but their focus is on sales. And so maybe you haven't gotten to the point like I have with my newer Mac where you're seeing that more planned obsolescence. You're seeing that fucketry and that push towards sales, and so, it's hard to say. It's easy to say, oh, when Steve Jobs ran the company, but he I'm sure he did dirty stuff. Some of that stuff going on, but it does kind of seem like with the newer management, maybe they're pushing more. I mean, all these publicly traded companies reporting to shareholders, it's a conflict of interest, I think. And I'm going to sound like a freaking socialist or a communist or whatever, or just a libtard, that I just think you need more oversight because you just have all this greed.
Oh, yeah. And it's like a fucking sandbox to them. They can just do whatever the fuck they want. They're just, free to do anything and everything. It's pretty...
And I think what causes me to spin, and I think is like causing you to kind of get into that raging mode, is you don't know the extent of it. So your imagination just runs wild. If they're doing this, what else are they doing? And it might not be warranted, like our anger and frustration and assumptions, but you're not transparent. And I don't know what you're doing, so I'm going to assume that you're doing more, because why wouldn't you? Because you're making money hand over fist off our backs.
Well, if Henry-Ford was able to do testing, if he was able to afford testing and had the time to do testing to see what parts would fail quicker, and to spend really any time on making things deliberately fail, I mean, that's pretty ugly. That's pretty ugly business.
Can you imagine being involved in those conversations? And the thing is, they're not like back alley, in shadows and wearing hoods going, here's what we're going to do. Oh, I don't feel right about this. No, you will feel right about it because you're going to get a lot of money. Your kids will go to college. It's
your kids
like...
are going to be able to go to college.
But it's like they happen in boardrooms or they happen in presentation, and it's all couched probably in different words. But like, if you know what's going on, can you imagine being part of that conversation and going, yeah, that sounds really good. Let's do this cheaper thing or this more delicate thing. Let's make it harder for them to get into it. Or is it just all couched? Is it all reading between the lines? Like, do they know what they're doing? Can you imagine being okay with that? Well, it's not like you're murdering people.
I think it's easy if you look at if you look down on the consumer and see them as just a bunch of piggies, pushing each other
into a trough,
pushing each other out of the way for slop. So, I think it's probably fine with those people. And if you
see the amount of money that's flowing into your bank account, and that you and your kids and your grandkids will always be okay. Because, then, I guess it would probably make it really hard to pass that up.
Yeah.
But it's sad. It makes me sad.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, it sort of makes sense in some ways. It's just how calculated it is that kind of disturbs me. Like, you're doing testing, so you have this extra money for testing and shit.
And you're not trying to make it better.
Yeah.
You're clearly not trying to make it better.
Exactly.
You're trying to figure out where you can make it
Faulty,
But the thing is, if they couch it in terms of we can source this product, this component more cheaply if we make it here or we make it out of this.
They were testing it supposedly. I didn't look deep into it. I mean, maybe I should have, but supposedly they were testing it for how faulty things are.
You're talking about Ford or are you talking about
Ford?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just talking about now. Because I feel like back in the day, maybe it was a little easier. Like things weren't as regulated. You didn't have this kind of at least public conscience that you have to convey. You know, like I went into the Apple store the other day, day before, to drop off my Mac, and they're all wearing green shirts that day. And the time before that, they were wearing blue shirts. And the time before that, I think they were wearing black shirts. And I could see some text on the back, and I said, "Oh, what's going on with the green shirts today?" And she said, "Oh, it's for Earth Day." You know,
yeah, because you guys care about the Earth.
But that's exactly the thing. It was like you could see. I don't know if she's brainwashed, but you could see the spiel. You know, like, well, because Apple's what was the word? Apple's, it wasn't incentive.
What about the iPhone? They just, you know, they turn every iPhone into garbage every 2 years.
You know, I'm just talking to some person who physically works in an Apple store. She's no kind of corporate anybody who came up with this BS. What was the word she used? Apple's
maybe Apple
motivation.
Does
it was like
some money into it though.
But it's like fucking Jeff Bezos stepping down to work on his philanthropy.
Yeah.
Really? How about your employees? It's like my
robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Woke. Yeah.
So my parents actually have a toaster from the 1950s. It works as well now as it did when, oh my gosh, I can't do this.
What?
It works as well as it did 70 years ago. The problem with this, however, is that the company probably isn't in business anymore because of the longevity of their product.
I wonder what the company is.
I don't know.
Do you know what the brand is?
I don't know.
What are some big toaster companies? Is Honeywell one? Is that like, with the little black? Well, they probably all have.
I'm sure there are companies that have gone out of business because of this, though.
So what is the answer then to that? That they branch out and do other products, or that they make better? Because
they still get a lot of money from their good products.
But if everyone, let's say after 10 years,
the problem,
in theory, has a toaster from that company, like this is just like a totally like not realistic but little bubble example. This one company makes this really great product, and everyone in America has that product after 5 or 10 years. And that product then lasts 50 or however many years. That can't be right. I mean, a toaster must break. Something must break.
I don't think that
Even if it lasts 10 years.
I don't think that toaster has ever broken. And
then what does that company do? I guess there's more people who come of age and buy it, and maybe they need to price it more, but a lot of times what happens is they price things cheaper. Or actually they keep the price the same and they price the components cheaper so that their bottom line is more.
So I don't know all the
better.
I don't know all the details of it, but I just think that your CEO doesn't necessarily, or the founder doesn't necessarily need to be $100 millionaire. I think that's the answer, really. I mean, by making all these sales, the company, the owner is very fucking wealthy. Mm-hmm. Like, what more do you need? You need constant sales. You need constant flow of money. Why? Because you're competing with the Jeff Bezoses of the world? Like, it's just not enough for you? I think that's where the issue lies. Because you can always come out with more, other products with your enormous amount of wealth that you now have.
Yeah. Well, you come out with the 4-slot toaster instead of the 2-slot toaster because now the couple that bought it in the 50s has children and they want to be able to make 4 slices of toast at once.
Yes, or just other kitchen appliances. Anything, really.
Yeah. Keep making the good toasters because people will still need them, just not in the initial flood of purchases that everyone bought it when it first came out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I kind of get it, but there's still... Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's still it's just gone too far. I get it if you're doing it because you're getting cheaper components. I kind of get it. And, you know, you want to have more of a profit margin. I think that's what it is. But like, that when you're doing it deliberately, not only can we source this component more cheaply, but it will make the thing break faster because it's plastic as opposed to metal or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that's happening, and you're like, instead of going, oh, that's a downside, you're going, ooh, bonus, because then they'll come back in 2 years and buy another one. That's criminal.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really does seem like many big companies these days are strategically trying to make their products fail just after the warranty is up.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just the ugliest shit,
mm-hmm.
because then the warranty becomes like this sort of just fake, you
mm-hmm.
know, like, we care. Do you though?
Well, especially because I think that most products, at least electronics, I think there's a statutory, maybe in California, I think there's a statutory 1-year warranty. So then they're giving you something that sounds like it has value, but they would have had to give it to you anyway.
Mm.
You know, I think so. I think that's a thing.
Yeah. That's gross.
So it's like they're actually then giving you nothing. So you pay, because I don't know if you pay extra for that 1-year warranty, or just, that might be what it is they have to give you that. You can buy an extended, but you think, at least, and I'd have to go look at my records, but I didn't buy an extended warranty because it's an Apple product. It's quality. Brandon's computer has lasted since 2013 and it's still going strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's going slow. It's a little slow.
Right now, it's as fast as it was when I first bought it, because I doubled the RAM and I changed the storage.
Yeah.
But
it's like, I didn't think I needed more than a year, because I'm sure it'll last at least 3 years. And that's like a good, you know, and might even last 6 or 7 based on your experience. Yeah.
Your iMac better last. I mean, there's nothing behind
your threat.
There's nothing behind my threat, but like, yeah, it ought to last at least as long as mine, because it's a newer product. But then again, apparently it's working the opposite way. The newer the product, the more planned obsolescence is being secretly injected into the product.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, companies have been doing this kind of stuff for such a long time, and it seems like more companies than we know have been kind of doing this, pulling this stuff. I remember one time when I was little, I can't remember what I was using, but it was like some kind of a tool or something, and it just like crumbled in my hands, basically. And I think it was quite an older product. It was made out of pot metal.
What is that?
It's been called monkey metal before, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically just a really low melting point metal, like a really cheap shit metal,
mm-hmm,
that they used to make like toys out of, and some tools and some parts out of. But it's so fucking weak and brittle. It's kind of unbelievable. I really just wanted to mention that. I don't really have much beyond that.
Well, do you remember what the tool was?
I can't. I just remember it breaking, and I've experienced that before with pot metal. Is it just like crumbling in my hand? And of course,
maybe that's what our pipes are made out of.
Yeah. Of course, it's always been like some sort of connecting part, some sort of vital, like mounting part or something, where it's like, why the fuck would they ever make this part out of that? You know?
For the reasons we're talking about.
Exactly.
Well, how disappointing.
bastards.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. No, I'm fucking mad too. You deserve to pay. You deserve to be strung up by your Buster Browns. I think he says that in Jaws.
Really?
I think so.
Strung up by your Buster Browns?
I have to look it up. Yeah, because whoever did the graffiti of the Amity Island sign, like they drew like a shark fin. And I don't know.
whoever did this should be strung up by their Buster
Brown
Browns.
shoes, maybe? Anyway, it's the mayor. He wants them strung up by their Buster Browns.
The mayor. So Apple, of course, has been sued for planned obsolescence as well.
With the iPhone, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much anyone I've ever known to own an iPhone has said they only really last for about 2 years.
It's probably just me saying it like 100 times in your ear.
Well, I think my friend Andy had an iPhone, and it only lasted 2 years, and he was like, that's it. I'm not owning one of these again.
Yeah.
Because it was expensive.
I exclusively bought iPhones for several years, every 2 years. And one time it just stopped answering calls. But I never really, backed it up. But I always did all the updates. Sometimes I would try to put them off. It was gross. And then I started having...
Well, the updates are the issue, I think.
Yeah. But I just thought, I was doing everything right. It never occurred to me that these nice corporate boys would be,
ugly,
fucking
gross
with my phone as a youngin'. But then I had my first Samsung, and I think it lasted 4 or 5 years. And I could have made it last longer. It was just really slow. Mm-hmm. And then this is like my third Samsung, because I was like, I'm not having an iPhone again.
Yeah. I had a flip phone back when I was...
A Razor?
Oh, gosh. How old was I? Probably like 16 or so. Mm-hmm. That thing lasted so damn long. The only reason I got rid of it, I think, was because people were saying, you got a flip phone still? And
what's wrong with the goddamn flip phone?
You know what's crazy? I have a fucking iPod.
Yeah.
This thing is ancient. Oh, it's not turning on.
It's probably not charged, right?
Yeah, it's not charged. The battery's
Do you think it could be charged on that? Or that's a Samsung charger in particular.
But I have an ancient iPod, I think, before they were,
got dirty?
Before they got all crazy into the planned obsolescence
So it's still working just fine? Well, plus it has, basically a single purpose.
That thing is...
Right?
Yes, but it can hold, video and all kinds of stuff. But I think that thing has to be, 15 years old, maybe? Because I think I had it in high school. That thing's fucking old.
You're old.
So, it's just kind of...
Like you just completely...
You're old. Get off of me. Yeah, so when you do an update and your device is noticeably slower than before, it should be kind of a huge red flag to people. It should be triggering lawsuits.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I want to know how these class action suits get started, because I've seen them. I've been involved with them in the course of my work. I get the notices from class actions with Wells Fargo, or I don't even know who else, where you can register if you think you've been wronged. But
probably
who starts them?
I'm going to guess lawyers looking for that kind of stuff.
But I'm I want to get in touch with people, and just have them at least be on some sort of tracking system. Here's what's going on. Here's my experience. And then if it becomes a thing, then reach out and gather these people for this particular issue or claim, like a power surge or whatever. And then it's just interesting, who starts that? Are they... Anyway.
Maybe we should have looked into it. Maybe I should have.
Well, this is already going to be a long enough episode. I think we could make that even a separate episode.
So here's a lawsuit.
In Rome?
For Apple. So
10 million euros. That's nothing to Apple.
So in 2020, the Administrative Court of Rome ordered Apple to pay a fine of 10 million euros. Okay. In the U.S., Apple managed to avoid a lawsuit with a $113 million settlement, which is odd because that's substantially more than 10 million euros. So they're kind of making it sound as if this is worse.
Well, that's a fine. This is a settlement. Mm-hmm. So a fine is more, usually I think less, and a little bit of a don't do that, mind your P's and Q's. A lawsuit is because, a settlement is.
Look at me. Okay.
Why? I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were reading ahead.
No.
Okay.
Did you write the things I was saying?
No.
I'm talking from experience.
Okay.
you settle for, if you think you're going to have to pay more at trial, you settle for a higher amount than you do just for a fine, is what I'm saying. So, and also it's Europe and Rome, I don't know.
So
everything, and we do everything here bigger.
Deco Proteste is the, I guess, Italian or Roman independent and nonprofit consumer organization. They argued in their lawsuit that Apple should pay affected users for the battery replacement and 10% of the iPhone value. Which I think is fair. Like,
how do you come up with that 10%? I guess because, I don't know. I mean, there's enough wear and tear that has nothing to do with the planned obsolescence, and 10% is the planned obsolescence value. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Or impact. Interesting.
So I wrote a little bit about having to pull the computer apart.
Yeah. You should just kind of talk about that.
So I was kind of going to, because we already kind of covered some of it. But the glass, so in order to get into an iMac, at least the 21.5 inch screen, you have to peel the screen from the computer, from the housing of the computer. And it's kind of a bitch because the computer screen is only about 1/16 of an inch thick.
Oh, is that why you were looking? Okay.
Yeah, that's about as thick.
Oh my God.
That's about as thick as like a normal pencil lead. That's so fucking thin for a 21.5 inch wide screen that you cannot crack.
Oh, that's the width?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you crack it, the screen and the glass, I guess, are one in the same. So if you crack it, you have to replace the whole fucking thing. You can't just like replace the glass on the face of it. Apparently, I don't know for sure, but that's what I read. Oh, and of course it's brittle too. So the glass is incredibly brittle. I've tapped coffee mugs and pint glasses against it and have cracked chips off of it.
Off of this one?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's very brittle glass. So you got to be super careful.
I mean, is there any reason for that?
I don't even think it needs to be glass. I mean, I think there are plenty of thin, clear materials that they could use.
Transparent aluminum. Just like in Star Trek 4.
That doesn't exist.
It's how they transport the whale. Is it 4?
Transparent aluminum.
You have the first one, then you have the Search for, or the Wrath of Khan, then you have...
Did they really say that?
The Search for Spock, and then you have the Voyage Home. Yeah, so they go back in time and they go to this guy and they want him to make them... Or they don't have money, because they don't use money in the future. So they are trying to get these big pieces of glass to put into the Klingon ship, I think, which is what they're flying, to transport humpback whales back to the future, because a probe has come looking for humpback whales and is going to basically inadvertently destroy the Earth because there's no humpbacks responding to its call.
What the fuck?
So they bring humpback whales back to the future. Maybe we should watch that for the next episode. It's actually really... I used to fucking love... I would watch... The Search for Spock and The Voyage Home, like, I think one time I watched them both, and then I turned around and watched them again as, like, a kid in my parents' bedroom, because they had the VCR. We went over that. But yeah, it's because they have to repopulate humpback whales in the future. And they go to the Monterey Aquarium, but they call it the Alameda. They say they're going to Alameda, but it's filmed at the Monterey Aquarium.
Oh, really?
In that little front area where we would see the otter cleaning the baby's butthole.
Oh, that's so cool though. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we should do a double feature and see what you think.
And who was Kirk at that point?
All those movies were played by William Shatner. I don't think anyone ever played Kirk but him. I think the former captain might have been someone else, or maybe he was just in one episode. I don't actually know.
When did Picard? Is it Picard?
When did Bacardi...
I never really watched the show, if you can't tell.
Yeah. Well, he was the next generation.
I thought it was Picard.
He was the next... No, Picard. I believe it's P-I-C. You're just... Oh, Brian has Poison Oak again.
I have Poison Oak again.
The saga continues.
Itchy. Don't get Poison Oak. If you've ever not had it...
Kids,
If you've never not have it, don't get it, because holy shit, it sucks.
Mm-hmm. And this time we've got milkweed cream. We've got the it's not even hydrocortisone.
There's hydrocortisone,
okay.
and then there's that other one that's higher strength that has a crazy name.
And then we've got Technu. And
it's right over there.
Oh, okay. I don't think they care, but now fluosinide? Fluosinonide?
No. Fluosinonide. Fluosinonide.
Cream.
Fluosinonide. Cream. So use that shit if you ever get it.
But
Holy
you're
crap.
Still scratching quite a lot.
I know.
Is it time for a reapplication?
I gotta wash it and put more stuff on it.
Man.
It sucks. Don't get it.
Don't get it.
My arm blew up. I had a Popeye arm the last time. Yeah. Trying to work with that shit, trying to draw when your drawing arm is a Popeye arm is really uncool.
But not full of muscle, full of like pus or something.
I don't think it was full of pus. I think it was like water or something.
Ew. I mean, that's just gross. Not like I'm ewing you.
I know.
But, okay.
It was gross. Believe me, it was attached to me. Ew, don't touch me.
Yeah, so what about the double-sided tape thing on your, you are sticky. So that's why you need a long-sleeve shirt like me.
I have one, but
it's quite warm.
So, the double-sided tape, you have to cut the screen away very carefully, not to break it. And then you have to re-tape it back into place.
I feel like it's like a burglar trap. So you leave like a piece of tape or a piece of string on your door, and if it's broken, someone's been into your place. I feel like that's what they do.
Oh yeah, that's a good analogy.
You've cut something, and they know you've gotten in there.
Mm-hmm. That's a good analogy. I think that's probably exactly what they do. It's just annoying. Sorry, my blisters.
I just keep catching them.
I think that's the most annoying thing about poison oak. If it was just itchy, I'd be fine with it. But because of the fucking blisters, it's like, I'm all like bumpy, and I can't help but like touch it and try to get rid of it.
Pestilence. You're riddled.
Shut up.
Shut up.
So, what was I going to say? Beyond the difficulty of working on their machines for basic repairs and upgrades that I believe you should absolutely be able to do yourself, there's the difficulty with the Apple geniuses.
Let's put that phrase where it belongs, in quotations.
Unless you're an Apple genius out there.
You're not a genius. You're a tech. Okay? You're not. You might be a genius separately from, but just because Apple deems you a genius does not mean, and I'm sure that has been beaten to death, but I don't care. I'm going to beat it a little more.
Fair enough.
Beat that little monkey.
There's a guy online that has a third-party computer repair shop. He works on Apple computers. He's the guy we were talking about earlier, or that Sarah mentioned earlier.
Or something. Ross Fossman?
Keep guessing. Keep guessing.
Is it right there?
No, I didn't write it.
How dare you?
Because I figured you would talk about him.
How rude. I think I'm on the wrong. You're going to get so fined for that.
Copyright stricken?
Yeah. I'm in the wrong account.
I have been stricken.
Who's that?
I don't know.
You sound like you make a nice heap or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make a nice heap.
What is the guy's name? Lewis. It is Lewis Rossman.
Lewis Rossman.
2 S's and 2 N's.
So he works on Apple computers and says that Apple really tries to make it difficult for them to stay in business, for his company to stay in business, by saying that they aren't a reliable option for repair.
Yeah.
That they don't really know their shit.
They question their competence. And he's like, the thing is, if
and
you
we'll
didn't
link
have
him in
to
the
question,
description.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you didn't have to question the competence of your manufacturer, he could understand that. But you can't fucking trust him. There's a conflict of interest there. Yeah, he's just a really good, he seems very articulate, but he has a good sense of humor. And he's pointing out people who come in and they say, Apple says you need to spend $400. That seems to be the magic number to replace your logic board or something. And he's like, look at this. When they opened up your computer and they went in there for, I don't know if it was a different reason.
For the attempted repair by the geniuses.
Right. They didn't plug the battery back in right. He's like, you could see it's just sticking out.
The internal battery.
The little wire thing has to stick through the little hole or make this little connection. And he shows her.
It wasn't plugged in all the way.
It wasn't plugged in all the way. So then he boots it back up and he's like, it's working fine. And she's like, seriously? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, why did they tell me $400? I don't know. Why do you think?
Fucking liars.
You know, he says if no one else has been into that computer but you, Apple genius, maybe you should think if it's working differently than when you opened it, that maybe it has something to do with
what you did.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he says some smart things and he seems trustworthy. I've said that before. Obviously, he's a YouTube guy. I don't know him, but it's just, you feel like there's a few voices out there getting some traction, getting some visibility that are bringing attention to this stuff. Because otherwise it's just all us little guys going, we have this trusted company. I don't trust the iPhones, but I trusted their devices based on Brandon's experience. So then he feels like shit because I bought a Mac because of his experience and it's been kind of shit.
Yeah.
And because they've downgraded the storage and the memory, my computer has been slow practically since I got it.
The only reason it's been shit for you is because of the power outage.
No, but also the slowness.
Obviously, they made it crap. The downgrading of the product made it less tolerant to power outages or to power surges. But you have the same storage I do. I don't know why.
I thought I didn't, because I thought we looked at it and I had less.
It might be like Big Sur might be part of the issue. I'm not really sure.
It was slow like a few months after I bought it.
I'm not really big sure.
Oh! It was kind of slow after I bought it. I thought we kind of determined that it was the memory, that it was less than what you had, that it was like half or something. I'll have to go back.
No, you have the same amount of memory. My old computer,
before you upgraded.
Before I upgraded.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just not ideal. It's not a lot of memory.
It's slow to boot up. Once things are going, it's fine, but fuck, it takes forever for iMovie to start up. And I know iMovie's got some issues, but
iMovie always takes forever to start up.
But other stuff too, just opening the browser. I mean, my laptop, which is now 3 or 4 years old, does not take that long to just open the fucking browser.
I personally think that Apple should sell those iMacs, the iMacs we have, the 21.5-inch screen. I think they should sell them automatically with 16 gigs of RAM. But they have 8.
So and then they can make you buy more.
Exactly. So once it inevitably takes a shit in like a few years because it's too slow, or, it's not taking a shit, but it's too slow for you.
Yeah. And then you go, I guess I need a new one. That's what they're banking on. Instead of I need to upgrade the memory.
I need to pop this piece of poo-poo open and upgrade some stuff. But now my computer's all taped together with
cellotape, as they say in England.
Cellotape or packaging tape.
Yeah.
And it looks like crap, but it works.
Not from the front. You can't see it from the front.
Can't see the tape across the top.
Oh, is that what that is?
That's
I just
tape,
thought that was like old. I don't know.
No, because I tried double-sided tape inside. No, if you do the repair that I did, if you pop your Mac open, get some proper adhesive tabs from like iFixit or something. Don't try to use normal tape because it doesn't fucking work. I did a really good job of putting that tape on there, but it just did not want to do what I wanted it to do.
But other than that, I mean, your computer's working like a dream now, right?
Oh gosh, it's so fast now. It just does everything right now. So yeah, iMovie opens up right away, and the freaking thing is like 7-8 years old. That's all I had to do. It's not that much work. It took me like, how long? If I had all the parts and wasn't stupid.
You weren't stupid. Hey,
I was stupid. I had to go back to the hardware store like 5 times.
2 times.
Yeah, 2 times. So get all the correct tools you need, and just
if you got the tools and you've got the talent,
it only
Ghostbusters.
Oh really?
We've got the tools. We've got the talent. Then you can fix your iMac. That part isn't in there, but it was implied.
I figured.
It's working like a dream. That's great. It was a lot of stress. I'm sure that you flooded your system with cortisol or some horrible bad adrenaline, some negative. You have a tumor somewhere
Oh, come on now.
that looks like an apple and has a little bite taken out of it.
The biggest stressor actually of doing that was their OS. They've got their OSs
on lockdown.
Apple's got their fucking operating systems on lockdown now. You used to just be able to throw an OS onto, a USB stick drive, and what are they actually called? Thumb drive.
You can call it a USB stick.
But, I just wanted to use the actual word so people aren't like, what the fuck
I never know what the actual word is because they call them flash drives, they call them thumb drives.
Yeah, thumb drive, flash drive.
Is it because it's the size of your thumb?
Possibly.
That was like a joke question.
Oh, okay. So that's why?
I just wanted to see if that's what your face would be like when I asked that question.
I don't know. Ow, my jaw.
Oh, that was your jaw?
That was my jaw.
Holy shit.
So, that was the biggest pain in the ass. So so in order to do it, you need to have a functioning hard drive in your computer. So you
which is shitty.
Replace the hard drive. Then you need to get a proper plug. I forget what it's called. A USB 3.
I could look it up.
It's a USB 3.0 to SATA 3 plug. In order to plug your old hard drive into your new one, then you boot up in recovery mode and replace your current SSD space storage with your data and your OS from the old hard drive.
Basically, just email Brandon and he'll take you through it step by step if you need to do it. That was very squeaky.
There's a lot of info online for it, but it's like, fuck, Apple is not making it easy for people.
They're definitely not making it easy. You make it hard.
Because they want you to buy new devices.
I would just like to send a message, a plea. Get back to basics. Get back to what matters, the consumers. Otherwise, you're going to be slapped back to compliance or slapped back into like non-nefarious, non-usury, non-illegal.
But they might not be. Because if you have powerful people that are benefiting it in government, benefiting from it in government, is that what I said?
I feel like that's why we need the Democrats to be in power, is to crack down on that shit, because trickle-down economics and laissez-faire or whatever, it doesn't work, because when you got people making money hand over fist, they just want more money over more fists. They're not going to self-police. It doesn't work. The Twitter CEO or some high-up Twitter guy even said that. He's like, I think it was Twitter. He said, I shouldn't have to give bonuses out of my own pocket to be fair to my employee. That should be something that's
automatic
law, that we're forced, I mean, he said it much more eloquently than that, but he's like, I did.
You shouldn't be allowed to exploit.
Thing, but you shouldn't have to rely on these individuals who are sent to billionaires.
Yes.
To go, I'm feeling generous today.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna throw some money out the window and let it float down to the. Throw some money out the window. That's how they all talk. Anyway, something has to change.
But that's communist. Is what the
so
fucking
string me up on my Buster Browns and whoop my little hiney.
It's what the ding dongs would say. You're a communist. Yeah, as they're working at their fucking way underpaid blue collar jobs, and as the company does the same shit to them, exploiting them.
I mean, obviously, you have corrupt people putting these systems into place. You need some sort of hybrid. You need a judge it on a case by case basis in terms of what is needed for oversight, regulation, whatever.
We're getting very outragey.
Yeah, but we're calm, right? Maybe?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So time to wrap it up. Is that your point? So just it's just hard. It's because I don't have time or want to spend my time, making sure I'm not getting screwed by Apple or whoever. Or Samsung with my screen fucking up. It's I just feel very persecuted the last couple months for tech.
Yeah.
It's not a nice feeling because I don't have a lot of disposable cash to throw at that shit. And it feels like a waste. This Mac should last me several years at least.
Yeah.
I spent $1,400 or whatever.
Well, just knowing that things like this are potentially or most likely deliberate.
Yeah.
Is what really kind of boils your blood.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm giving you money to basically fuck me in the face? What the hell?
That can be fun, but it should be consensual. Right? Am I right?
I don't want it.
No.
I don't want it.
Okay. Noted. Noted on the record.
That I don't want to be fucked by Apple?
Yeah. In the face. Or elsewhere.
Exactly. Just don't do it. I see you thinking about it. Just stop it.
Yeah. Put it away. Put your pants on.
No means no. And that's not a joke.
No means no. Yeah. No, it wasn't a joke.
Got a little bit sing-songy there. I'm so itchy.
All right, don't do that because it's going to squirt my eye. And then I'm going to have poison oak pus eye. So yeah. Anyway, you should email us or make a comment.
Don't do that.
If you need help or guidance, or better yet, go to the real experts, Louis Rossman on YouTube, and then the other guy. Who's the other guy I like? Who's been doing a lot of comparisons? I think he's a bit of a ginger.
I don't know. Look it up, and I'll tell the listeners a thing. We would love to hear what you guys have experienced regarding planned obsolescence.
I'm gonna find it. It's
whether it's for a common household product or a phone or a computer or whatever. We'd like to hear your stories too, because this is an interesting, rage-inducing conversation.
LMG Clips. I don't know the guy's name. I'm sure Linus Tech Tips. Maybe that's his actual name. LTT. He's on a couple channels. Maybe he was interviewed for another one. Oh, the whole Epic versus Apple lawsuit and the developers of Fortnite, and how Apple has kind of become the big, scary company where it used to be kind of the underdog. I don't know. He's good too. He does some good comparisons or just breakdowns of what's going on with Apple. It's interesting. Linus Tech Tips, Linus. He's pretty big, so you really can't miss him if you search anything Apple, kind of Apple related, Apple lawsuits, that kind of thing. Anyway, all right. Well, please subscribe, like, comment, depending on what platform you're listening from, or leave us a review or a rating is very helpful. We have very few. We have not really been pushing our ratings, but it would be really helpful if you like us just a teeny bit.
Yeah.
Or if you have feedback, give us critical feedback. We're still working out our format.
And we apologize again for the crappy sound for this episode.
We can't help it. Apple, duh. Apple's screwing us.
Thanks for listening. Signing off.